This is the top of a tell, a mound city that happens to be in Galilee. Down below me, the ruins that you're seeing appear to be the outline of a synagogue. The synagogue on top of this mound here, just across from Nazareth, which is over those hills in the far distance. This mound is known as Khirbet Qana, also known as the village of Cana. Now there is another Cana, and it happens to be over those hills in the distance. That particular Cana is a very traditional spot used for Christian pilgrims, but it is not the place where John chapter 2 took place, the wedding at Cana. And that took place right here in this area on top of this ancient mound, which is barely accessible anymore. You might be able to tell I'm somewhat out of breath as I'm standing here because it was a long, hard walk up. This is definitely not a tourist spot. But here at Cana, Khirbet Qana, where the excavations are quite recent by the archaeological team that was here, they seem to have found the place where Jesus changed water into wine, the place of his first miracle. And of course, that means that not only was Jesus here, but that Mary was here also. And as you know the story, as it's recorded in the Gospel of John, they ran out of wine at the feast, which is considered a huge insult to the guests and shameful to the hosts. And Mary sees this and goes to Jesus and said, they've run out of wine. Jesus, of course, says to his mother, why do you ask me this? My time is not yet come. She doesn't even speak to Jesus after that. She simply says to the servants who are near Jesus, just do what he says. Well, there were 6 water pots used for ceremonial cleansing. That means that they have to be filled with what's known as living water, which means it's got to be very pure. It can't come from a cistern, it can't come from a well. So it has to come from someplace way down there. So this was not a simple process. And those water pots held many, many gallons each. So all that water had to be carted up and put into the water pots. And then it was served out to the host of the feast, the father of the bridegroom. And as he tasted the water, which was now changed into wine, he made a comment to the like of, this is the best wine I've ever had. Usually you put out the worst wine later, in other words, wine that's been watered down, as the wedding feast, which would last typically 7 days. As it would wear on and on and on, you put out the cheaper wine last. But he said, this is the best. Phenomenal stuff. And where did you get this wine? And then John tells us that this was the first miracle of Jesus that revealed his glory. Now, how did changing water into wine reveal the glory of God in human form? It's actually something that any Jew like John would know. Anybody that was attending the feast at Cana would know. And it was something very simple. At every feast, there was a prayer given over the bread. Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who gives us bread from the earth. But then the cup would be given, and there would be a prayer over a cup of wine, also at the feast. And it could be given a number of times during the feast, which is, Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Not gives us wine from the earth, but creates the fruit of the vine. And any Jew knew this because they would have prayed this over any given meal. And what the host of the feast really didn't understand, and I believe John did understand, which is why he noted this as the first time he revealed his glory in this sense for sure, as God, was that when that prayer was given by the host, holding up a cup of wine at the beginning of the feast, Blessed art thou, O Lord our God, King of the universe, who creates the fruit of the vine. Then they ran out of wine, and what escaped him was, O Lord, our God, King of the universe, was in the other room. And what did he do? He created the fruit of the vine. Thus, he revealed his glory at the first miracle in Cana, right here where I'm standing today. Great, great place. But believe me, if you want to visit it, you can't get a bus in here. It's definitely a long climb. God bless you. We'll talk to you again soon.